time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Oh boy! Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
All of that means absolutely nothing if we don't continue to improve and get better and play our best football here towards the end of the season. And we're going to play some really good teams, offense, defense, special teams, where if you don't show up and play to the best version that you can of your own team, it really doesn't matter what the opponent does, because everybody's good. Everybody's got the ability to win a game on any given Sunday, and that's what this league's all about.
Chicago's a tough guy town. When the Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
Tough defense, really good coordinator, dials up some really good blitzes with some good coverages, and they got some really good players, obviously that we got to be accounting for at all times. So just another really good challenge, and we're excited for it.
We're resilient, we're connected, we're a bunch of just tough, gritty dudes that come in every day, blue collar, just want to get better, and Flo expects that of us, and he's got a high standard, and we're trying to be the best defense and play for the guy next to it.
We said it was going to be a tough guy game. And in a tough guy game, playoff football in December, you got to execute, and you can't leave plays on the field.
I've always had a ton of fun playing this game. Obviously, just playing with this team, playing with the guys in that locker room, the coaches that we got, and it's a special place to be in. I'm excited to be here.
Every game is big in my mind, regardless of when we play it. Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, Tuesday night. Every game is big, and especially where we're at right now. From here on out, every game is a big game. So that's the way we approach it. Week in and week out is a big game.
That's it. It's all the marbles. I'm sitting in the house, I'm loading up a pump, I'm loading up the Uzi. I got a couple of M16s, a couple 9s. I got a couple joints with some silencers on them. I'm just loading up clips, a couple grenades. Got a missile launcher with a couple, missiles. I'm ready for war.
Chicago's a tough guy town. When the Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
Darnold back to pass, hit as he throws. Finds Addison over the middle. 25-20, near side 10-5, touchdown! Jordan Addison with his 4th touchdown this season. It's a 47-yard strike from Sam, the man on the fan, and the Vikings have taken a 6-3 lead. Snap. Sam rolls out to the right. Throws to Akers, caught at the 2, into the end zone. Touchdown! Cam Akers, with his first touchdown for the Vikings this year, has catapulted the lead to 22-10.
I try to fight fire with fire,
Super Bowl, homeboy. Chicago's a tough guy town. When Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
You got to remember, yes, that's Big Time Rush and Tough Guy Town. It's so good.
I always love that one.
This one says, had to be physically restrained at 11:59 today. My community can't take any more broken brick walls. Wow, chills with all the tough guy talk. Of course, this one says another AI-generated song. Who does Tennant think he is, mailing it in like this? The Timberwolves? Wow. This one says, just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, Tennant puts together a montage like this and totally redeems himself. No more interim, me boy. Here's another. Brick Wall 1, my face 0. Thanks, Tennant. Montage song just gave me concussion trying to run through a brick wall. The band, Big Time Rush. The song, Tough Guy Town. That was really, really good. Very appropriate for Sunday's game. There's so many things to talk about. That's probably the A topic. Bears, Vikings, Northern Division collision. You'll hear it on this radio station. Coverage at 10. Be here for the kaboom at noon. The two men's winter sports teams in town are headed in different directions. Sky rockets in flight for the Minnesota Wild, while the Minnesota Timberwolves continue to plummet to depths never seen before for many, many years. A lot of people are saying the Nittany Lions, they break into the bank on Saturday. Will they leave with a big haul? All of those topics to get to. I don't know where to start. Let's spin the wheel of topic.
Commons golf game.
Oh.
What'd you shoot today?
78.
Where'd we play?
Oak Marsh.
Where'd you hit it on? One?
Right up the gut.
Second shot?
I hit a really nice rescue club. Again, right up the gut.
How far from the green?
Well, I still had a ways to go. It was 144 into a little bit of a breeze and it was cold, so I hit like a 3/4 knockdown 6-iron.
Then what?
Hit it on the green and 2-putted from 30 feet. I was really good for 13 holes, or for 12 holes. I made the turn at +2. I went par, bogey, bogey, par, par, birdie, par, par, bogey. So I was +2. Parred 10, awful on 11. I had, again, 134 into the green, hit a terrible iron short. My wedge, I didn't even get onto the green, 2-putted from the fringe. Made a nice par on 12. Then I bogeyed 13, bogeyed 14, bogeyed 15. Again, I doubled the short par 5 16th. I was falling apart. I was like a prize fighter getting wobbled in the middle of the ring. But I did. I finished strong. I went par. And the par on 18 was really good. I hit it into that fairway bunker. Hit a poor fairway bunker shot. The ball disappeared as it was headed toward the marsh. I thought it was in. I thought, well, there's the round. In and 2, out in 3, knock it on in 4, 2-putt 6, and shoot some awful 80-something. But the ball was like 6 feet short. I had 56 yards to the pin and hit it to 18 inches. Just a brilliant wedge to finish the day. So I finished like the Wild finished their game last night, but I was very different from your Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll get to both of those topics. Why don't people like, some of these people don't like the AI songs. I think they're terrific. It's like having your own band, right? And you just tell them, this is what I want you to do. And then you can get them to write. Because over the years, and Tennessee, you can attest to this because you can speak to this probably better than anybody. You being the montage master, we've been doing this for years, for every Friday for a Vikings game and every Monday after they lose or win. Sorry about that. We do them for big games for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We do them for the Wild, the Twins. We do them for Gophers if they have big games. And we oftentimes, and we always do a montage when the season starts. And then when the season comes to an end, of course, when it starts, it's only the beginning by Chicago. And unfortunately, when it ends, every single time, it just happens to be Sad Eyes by Robert John. But after a while, it becomes difficult for you over all these years, all these Vikings games, 17 a year, to come up with something fresh, new, and exciting. And now IA comes along, and you can actually, I mean, it's instead of just finding songs that have the right theme to them, you can actually create songs that are spot on to what we want to do. We love the Mike Tice where he said Chicago's a tough guy town. If you're going to start, you get ready for Chicago, better start getting ready right now. That whole thing. So all you do is punch in Chicago tough guy town into AI, and they create a song specifically for us. I just absolutely love it. And so, as a matter of fact, it now. I always look forward to the montages before a game, but now even more than ever. Because I always know, like, for instance, if the if the Vikings are to lose on Sunday, it's Dido, right? But maybe it won't be Dido this time. Maybe 10 of people come.
It's going to be hard to replace Dido.
Right, but you could try coming up with something like, Dido, I don't think we would.
But for like today, we could have played Keep Pushing for the sixth time in a row.
Exactly.
Or play Tough Guy Town by Big Time Rush.
Big Time Rush. It sounded like Big Time Rush, didn't it? It sounded exactly like Big Time Rush. So, I just love it, and I can't wait to...
I'm thinking the Chicago Tough Guy Town might top the charts in Chicago. They might take it for their own.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
it's going to hit the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah, I have... here's what somebody said. Wait, it was AI? I don't know what to believe anymore. It is true. You're never going to know eventually. There is that fear factor, which was the name of a TV show, I think.
It was, yeah. There's
a fear factor with the AI stuff. I really do truly believe that. But we got a lot of topics I do want to touch on before Lil B joins us. Feminine Touch of the program at 1 o'clock. Then at 1:30, program password, Marnie Gellner of... It's not Bally Sports North anymore, right?
FanDuel Sports Network.
FanDuel Sports Network. She'll join a Lil B, and then Mark Rosen, the legendary one, and I will team up. We're going to play Program Password at 1:30, so plenty to get to. Let's take a short break. Come back with more right here on the Fan.
Join the KFAN Power Trip Morning Show live on Black Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. at the Huntington Bank Rotunda at Mall of America. They'll be playing Initials game live for multiple grand prizes, including a trip and ticket bundle to see your favorite teams on the road, plus the ultimate Minnesota Sports Day on Black Friday. Get the full details now at KFAN.com. Keep your calendar.
And look, let me be clear. I think I've made it well known that I'm not a big fan of... I think a lot of today's music is generated by computers, right? Hey, we need a drum beat. We need a saxophone solo. We need a guitar lick. We need a melody. We need this. And it's just generated on a computer. There's no real musicians playing anymore. And then there's... So the voices, a lot of these singers are just... They're crystal clear and perfect pitch. My guess is in many cases, it's what do they call that when they auto-tune, right? Isn't that what that's called? When they auto-tune their voices. So you would think, well, why are you a fan of AI-generated music? I'm not as far as everyday listening music, but for creating montages, I just think it's great. Because
I'm not going to be listening to Tough Guy Town on the drive home today.
Exactly. Yeah. And for those that are unhappy with it, let me just say this. You don't have to like AI-generated music, but you have to respect it. Would you agree with that, then? You have to respect it.
Well, and let me be clear. My goal is not to have every montage be AI-generated.
Right.
But I thought to myself, how cool it would be to have a song called Tough Guy Town as we're playing Chicago, right? It just fit for this 1 week.
It was perfect. And well done, young man. Welcome back to the spotlight. We have two men's professional winter sports teams, Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Timberwolves, both headed in dramatically different directions, particularly last night. Your Minnesota Wild they upped their record to 13-3-3. They beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-3. Despite the fact, I think Edmonton knows this. If you're going to beat the Wild when Flowers in the net, you've got to get to Fleury early, and they did.
They got to him very early.
He
got to himself.
That was 13, 14 seconds or something into the game.
Like 25, 30 seconds in, yeah.
It was this bouncing puck. It was sort of just kind of rolling and bouncing. And he tried to do the old, and I've done it before because I've played between the pipes as one of the best boot hockey goaltenders to ever play the game. And he was just going to kind of swipe it into the corner, and he fanned on it, went between his legs, 5-hole, I think. And suddenly it's 1-0. The fans got on him a little bit.
Yes.
In Edmonton, and then they did the old...
His first save, they gave him the old Bronx cheer.
Right, yeah, and they did that, but it ended up, it didn't matter. Wild ended up winning the game 5-3. It was a bit of a scare. Oh, by the way, I'm a little disappointed. I was waiting for your text.
I forgot.
I forgot to watch the game because I didn't even know it was on. I didn't watch Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football. I didn't watch the Wolves, and I didn't watch the Wild. I was busy reading. I'm a reader, in case you didn't know that. But what I did see was there was a bit of a scare there with Kaprizov. He kind of got hip checked or something, went down pretty hard. Did he leave the game for a little bit, but then came right back? Is that what happened?
He did, yeah. So it was in the neutral zone, right out in the middle of the ice. He had the puck. You know, the Kajula kind of sticks his leg out a little bit. I thought it was knee on thigh. So when he first got hurt, I almost thought it was like the groin because his leg got pushed back.
Okay.
He did say after the game he thought it was knee on knee, which is always scary, right? Those are the ones where you can be out for a long, long time. So very scary moment if you're a Wild fan, given the season not only your team is having, but Kaprizov specifically is having and how much he means to this team.
Would you consider it a cheap shot?
That's a good question because, like, you don't see a lot of open ice hits in the middle of the rink anymore these days, just for that very reason. Because any check that's a big check, back in the '80s, like that would have been just a normal play. I don't think he was blatantly sticking out his leg, but I do think he was trying to make a check, and his leg may have gotten in the way a little bit. And Kaprizov's such a quick movement, right? He's about to go right, and all of a sudden, last second, he's going left, and it throws off the defender a little bit, and you're making split-second decisions. I'm not sure it was meant to be a cheap shot, but it was definitely dangerous.
So you don't think it was evil intent? Because that's what we always, we try to attach that. Was it Kaprizov last year or the year before where the guy from the Winnipeg Jets fell on him? And there were... I
thought there was intent there.
And I did not. But again, you and I sometimes don't see eye to eye, and I don't know if we'll ever know. But I think most sane people would think, we've talked about this. I know your opponent's on the ice, but you're all part of a union. You're all part of a club. You all make a living playing hockey. And at the end of the day, it is just entertainment. It's not life or death. And if you're trying to injure other people that are making a living in your league, to me, that's worth fines and suspensions if you find out, and maybe just boot it out of the league forever. I mean, it makes no sense to me. I think for me, what was nice, Tenneby, is impactful is Kirill has been this year, and I say just, but only an assist last night. The scoring was spread out. I looked out at the box score. Goudreau, 2 goals and assist. Foligno, a goal and an assist. Boldy had a goal. Johansson had a goal and assist. Hartman had 2 assists. And then Brodin, Chisholm, Middleton, and Kaprizov all had an assist. A lot of players getting involved in the scoring, which I think is helpful.
Well, and if you look at last night's game, they beat an Edmonton Oilers team that I think many going into the season would consider Stanley Cup contenders. Now they've had some injury stuff, and they were their best defenseman last night in Darnell Nurse. But 30 seconds in, you gave them a goal, right? And the Wild, before they got going on their goal run, scored a goal and had it overturned on an offsides. So, I mean, those are 2, basically you gave them a goal and had one taken off the board yourselves. You still beat them 5-3. Last night, and even the one that they got overturned was also depth scoring. Mm-hmm. It would have been Trennan from Foligno. Okay. Foligno was the one offside, so it wasn't the Kaprizov line. If you are getting scoring from Freddie Goudreau, which they did last night, if Hartman's contributing and Foligno and Trennan and Lauko, if these guys are contributing, all of a sudden we got a team here because their star power is legit in Kaprizov and Boldy. Defensively, they're as good as anyone in the league right now, as long as their defensemen stay healthy with Spurgeon, Brodin, and Faber. Who knows? We'll see what they do in the playoffs when you have to go against bigger, stronger lineups. But and size might mean something. But right now, like from a regular season standpoint, you might take those three over any threesome in the league. Middleton's been phenomenal. Their goaltending's been great. So defensively, they're good. They've got star power as long as they have depth scoring, which last night they did. And last night they looked like a Stanley Cup contender in that game last night.
I forgot to jot down Fleury's record this year. Is it like 4-0-1? Has he started that many games? I thought I saw it was like
he hasn't started a lot, but yes.
I thought it was like 4-0-1. And he's now, is he second all time in starts?
He passed Patrick Roy last night.
Patrick Roy. And so is he second or third all time? I think he's third.
I think Waugh was third, so I think he passed him.
He can't get into first.
Yeah, he's 4-0-1.
Yeah, and he'll never get into number one because Fleury is retiring after this year, correct? Did he make that announcement? So he can't get to that level, but that's still a lot of hockey games played. The other thing about he's tied for the NHL scoring lead now with 34 points, and I'm told he extended his point streak to a franchise record 11 games.
That's pretty good.
Do you know by any chance?
He wanted an empty netter last night too. He was very engaged when Edmonton was down 3 and they pulled the goalie.
Let me ask you another question. Do you know offhand what the NHL record is for points in a game streak? You know, how many games in a row has somebody?
I don't. I'm guessing Wayne Gretzky would be the holder of it.
And you would. I wonder,
since he had over 200 points in a season once.
I think I'm going to IHOP that during the next break just to see what that record is, because we like here on the program, we love historically good when it comes to the locals, but we don't mind biblically bad. I mean, we can't fight it. If it's a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans, it's not ours to keep, we can't control it. So if you're trying to find some type of enjoyment or something to keep your mind occupied, if it can't be historically good, I'm all for biblically bad, but maybe he could break the record. Is he even close?
Wayne Gretzky holds the record with 51 games. Wow. From October 5th, 1983 to January 27th, 1984. 51 consecutive games. He had 153 points during that stretch.
51 consecutive games. The great one is what a lot of people called him.
For Kaprizov to get into the top 50, you'd have to get to 18 games. But even in the top 50, there's multiple Gretzky streaks. So Gretzky has 3 of the top 4 streaks. He also has the 7th streak, the 12th streak, 17th streak, 18th streak, 32nd streak, 43rd, 44th, 48th. Holy
moly. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You said what's the number for the most games?
51.
51. What is he second? I mean, because at 51s, you said he's got a bunch of streaks. Is he
first, third, and fourth?
Third and fourth. What's number 2?
Mario Lemieux had 46.
Okay, so that's close. 5 off the mark.
And then Gretzky's third with 39. Okay. He's also fourth with 30.
A couple of more text messages that have come in before we go to break. It says, Tena's getting me pumped up about this team. I might need to put away my Chuck Taylors and get me a pair of grubby hockey gloves. There's people that are starting to get excited.
Maybe we need to do an AI song called Because It's the Cup.
Could you get that ready for coming out of the next break? This one says, not going to be listening to Tough Guy Town on the way home from work? Speak for yourself, Tena. I'll be listening to it on a loop for the next 48 hours. I think you struck a chord with people. I think they love it. We'll break. We'll come back. We'll take a peek at the purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. Also, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they just can't win in Toronto. They may as well not go to Boston because they've lost 17 in a row there, too. What convenient excuses. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do those 2 topics, and then we'll be at 1 right here on The Fan. The 3 wise men.
KFAN and the Minnesota Vikings will be live from Shields in Eden Prairie on Tuesday, December 3rd for our annual Toys for Tots broadcast presented by Unreal. We will be collecting donations for Toys for Tots, 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., and we need your help. Be one of the first 50 people to donate a toy each show to receive a KFAN Unreal Winter Beanie. Get all the details at KFAN.com. Keyword toys.
Before we take a peek at the purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric, shockingly affordable, we want to puke at the performance of the Wolves. I thought that was kind of funny. Peek at the purple, puke at the Timberwolves performance. Maybe it wasn't. That was kind of controversial is what it is. Wolves lose last night. And again, full disclosure, I didn't see it, but in what I've been told in the descriptions of the game, it was as an embarrassing and pathetic a performance that the Wolves have had in a long, long time. This is a team that, look, they made 2 really nice playoff runs last year. They got to the Western Conference Finals. They upended the defending champion Denver Nuggets, lost to the Mavs, and we're gonna run it back a third time. And then for some reason, 3 days before the season starts,
yeah, great timing,
we decided we don't need Bodega Cat anymore, and we trade him. And I'm beginning to think, Teneby, that maybe that's having more to do with the performance of this team than I was thinking. Because the people I trust, I asked a number of people, do you like the trade? They all gave it a thumbs up. All the people in the basketball community that I talked to. And it was because of, the salary cap and those luxury taxes and those aprons and all that eventually the Wolves just were going to have to make some type of a decision. And so that Tim Connolly, and I'm wondering if Connolly, because he's been getting a lot of people have been talking about what a great GM he is. He built the Denver Nuggets into a world championship club. He comes here, he makes the blockbuster trade that, it sent shockwaves around the NBA. You're trading that many draft picks and players to get Rudy Gobert, and it worked. I mean, to the point where, and then what people thought was, well, he's building a team to beat the team that he built that won the championship. Mm-hmm. He knows how to beat his own team, and it looked real good. The first year, obviously, we had some injuries, didn't work out. Big Meow missed most of the, or a good portion of the season. But last year, they did. They took out Denver, and they got to the Western Conference Finals. And I'm assuming these guys on the team, after 2 years, tend to be, you get real tight with each other, right? I mean, it's the old,
sure,
we're going to war every night and this and that and the other thing. And they're like days before the season. I'm sure they're excited about taking it to that next step. Let's go from the Western, from getting out of the first round 2 years ago. The old Bum Phillips. Last year we got to the door. This year we knocked down it. Now we're going to kick it in. I'm sure they thought they were going to kick it in. Then all of a sudden, Big Meow, who, whether you think he's a good player, great player, mediocre player, whatever the case may be, I think he was a team leader. We talked about this, Teneby. There was probably nobody that was more all in on trying to win playoff games than Big Meow, because he's been here his entire career. All the other guys came at different times. Gobert's been a couple of years, and now with DiVincenzo and Julius Randle, those guys haven't been here. I'm not suggesting they don't want to win, but I just think it feels like maybe it's thrown off this chemistry that this team has had. Toronto's a terrible team. They'd won 3 games going into last night's game. Now, apparently, I saw on the Gamer, they either beat Indiana and then took Boston to overtime. Boston's one of the better teams in the league. They're defending NBA world champions, but that's still a game you're supposed to win. What I didn't realize until talking to, and I'm Dylan here at the radio station, one of our sales guys, about what happened in the game late, because it wasn't in the game, or other than it said Gobert was called for a 3-second violation. It was an intentional 3-second violation. He was frustrated. He's demanding the ball from Randle. And remember one of the raps on Randle when the trade was made? Ball gets sticky with Julius Randle. And sure enough, Randle, game's on the line. It's late in the game. He decides he wants to try to take it to the bucket. So Gobert demanding the ball. Then when it doesn't come his way, he just slowly walks out of the lane. 3-second lane violation called. Excuse me. Sorry about that. And then you see Ant. Did you see the highlight where Ant approaches Gobert? Like, what are you
dressing him down
doing? Right. Now, do we have the sound from Jim Pete, the play-by-play duo from last night's game? I think Abbott may have sent it to you, because it's interesting to hear how it went down. But he slow walked out of the lane, was called for a 3-second lane violation, and there were all sorts of issues they had. Here's how it sounded on the telecast last night.
Right up in 95. And that was the wildest nonchalant 3 seconds I've seen. Gobert really didn't make an effort to get out of the paint. I don't know if he was frustrated he didn't get the ball. But he did not get out of the lane. Easy 3 seconds calls for the officials. 14th turnover for the Wolves. Oh, no. Oh, no. And Gobert just picked up a foul.
Because he threw his hip check at a guy.
Look, Gobert wants the ball. Look, just very little effort in getting out of the lane.
And he then I think it was on the ensuing possession, he hip checked a guy that was in the lane, and he got called for a foul there.
And he decided to do his protest in a 95-95 game with 4:45 on the clock. That's when he decides to do the protest.
You know, I texted Rose.
That would be infuriating if you're on his team.
Oh, absolutely. And you could see Ant was beside himself.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like what's the point here? Finch talked about missing Conley. You know, okay. There's all sorts of teams missing players, right? I don't think that's the reason they lost last night. To me, it's like, and this is why, and people wonder, I guess, why I get so frustrated with the Timberwolves, you know, the NBA in general, and specifically the Timberwolves. It's like, you're supposed to be, how do you lose to a 3-12 team? I don't know. You're supposed to. And I'm going to ask the question. Here's what the Wolves apologists will tell you. Well, it takes time to gel. You know, got new teammates working here. Julius Randle and DiVincenzo are new to the team, so it's going to take some time for the players to get acclimated with each other and to get some type of a rhythm going in their game. How long is this supposed to take? How many games are we into the season? Are they 8-7 now or 8-8? I think they might be 8-7. I think is their record.
Well, after Boston, it'll be 8-8.
Yeah, right. Because again, you know, so I text Rosen last night. What do you think of your Timberwolves now? And he goes, "I told you they can't win in Toronto." Nobody believes that stuff, do they? I know
they're 8-7.
They've lost 20 games in a row to Toronto. So does that mean we just should expect them to lose all the time? You know, the Minnesota Twins were 0-18 in postseason play, and they finally were able to snap that streak.
This is a team that almost made the NBA Finals last year. We shouldn't just be like, oh, I guess Toronto's just a hard place for us to play.
Yeah. And if you do believe that, then don't go to Boston either, because we've lost 17 in a row to Boston going back to 2005. You got to go back to 2003, 2004, the last time we beat Toronto. And you'd have to go back to 2005 for the last time we won at the Garden. So should we just not play that game? Maybe what the NBA ought to do is institute a new rule, Tennessee, where each team throughout the season gets 2 or 3 games where they just forfeit. They don't even show up. It's like, well, we can't win there. And then guess what? We can help the environment, because, you know, every time a jet takes off, they say those jet airplanes damage the atmosphere, the environment more than just about anything, right? Well, think about that. So we could kill a lot of birds with this. So we could just save on the environment. We don't have to travel all the way there. We get built-in load management days that way. So just because we've never been, and it was almost like that's an excuse to lose. Well, we just can't win in Toronto. And if we can't win, we can't win in Boston either. I'm beginning to think that Conley maybe, and again, it is early. I get it. 15 games, things can change in a hurry. I'm just wondering when it's going to change. Maybe they should have brought it back one more time. I know there's money issues, but
I want to go back to the Conley conversation you're having, because when the Julius Randle, Big Meow, what do you call him, Bodega Cat?
Yeah, he's Bodega Cat.
When that trade went down, I felt like there were a lot of people that supported the trade. But the reason they supported the trade was not because they were in love with Julius Randle. It was, well, Conley is just this GM genius. And anything he does, I'm just going to blindly have #faith in whatever he does. Like, that was an argument a lot of people made. And I was thinking to myself at the time, I'm like, I get the Wolves were contenders last year. Your key players, the core of that team was not brought in by Conley.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards was not drafted by Conley. Big Meow, or Bodega Cat, was not drafted by Conley. he did make the Gobert trade. I'm still not convinced that was the right trade. I get short term and gave him a chance last year, but they are giving up a lot of draft picks over the years. And then we saw what happened last night. And, he did make he got rid of D'Angelo Russell, and the Mike Conley acquisition was pretty darn good. Like, he made some minor moves, but it wasn't like he took this Wolves team from back when they were, 17 and 65 and created this all on his own. Like, he came into a pretty good structured place that had a lot of things going for it. So, I don't know if he has done enough here to just blindly assume everything he touches is going to turn into gold.
And, I was sort of kind of one of those guys, because I did say if he made that trade to get Randall, I did. I said I offered up. Hard to not believe in the guy for what he's done. But you're right. I think at the end of the day, you're correct.
Well, and the other part of this, though, Sue, is this might not be on Connolly. Like, if this turns into a bad trade, this might have just been a mandate from ownership. Yeah. They'll never say it.
Right.
Right? But this might have just been, hey, they don't want to pay the luxury tax for the next X amount of years. They want to make sure we are financially reasonable, especially with the ownership stuff that's going on right now. We don't even know who's going to be the owner. That might have been a mandate from up above. Hey, you got to do something about the salary. And that was his only move. And he made the best of it that he could.
There are people, though, that tend to be that... I think maybe they forget this is the tough love covenant. I think that we have fans out there that are just soft and don't have high expectations for the club. I mean, these guys are all multi-millionaire. Don't you expect better efforts? Don't you expect to play? Why don't you hold them to higher standards? Listen to some of these texts. Just have patience. I asked the question yesterday, how long are we supposed to have patience? We're approaching the quarter mark of the season. What, 20 games is the quarter mark? We're at 15. We're about to go to 8-8. We're going to get killed by Boston. There's no question we're going to lose to Boston. We're not good enough. We don't have the right attitude. We don't have the right effort. We'll go to 8-8. Here's another Wolves.
It will be interesting to see how they respond from last night, because there's tension in that locker room now. They showed it on the court. They're not all on the same page, and now you get to see their response game against a pretty darn good team.
Here's another. Wolves will make the playoffs. Great. Half the teams in each conference make the playoffs.
More than half, because 10 of them technically get in.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. 10 of them get in, and then they have this little playoff thing where then playing games, they settle down. So, what, are you happy with the 8th seed or the 7th seed? Because that's where, right now, if the playoffs started today, I think they're out. And I know the playoffs aren't starting.
They're 10 seed, but they're tied for the 10 seed right now.
So, what are you happy? Oh, we'll just make the playoffs. Let's pat them on the head. 2/3
of the teams make the playoffs.
And here's another. If you're that frustrated, just don't watch them. I don't watch them. I haven't watched the game yet. Are you not listening? I don't watch the game. I don't need to. Why would you want to? Who wants? Did you invest 2.5 hours in that last night? God bless you. That's 2.5 hours you can't get back. I at least enjoyed listening to some music, reading a very nice piece on the founder of the Fleetwood Mac, Peter Green. They had a little interview with him. They did. He died about 8 years ago. They had a nice little. It was wonderful.
I had a wonderful 2.5 hours watching my Wild last night.
Yeah,
it was great.
I truly don't think you know much about basketball. Well, okay, whatever you want to think. I know plenty. 15 games into the season, dude, chill.
It's not that complicated.
No, it's not that complicated a game. You go down the court, you run your little you run your little plays. Have a guy go this way, have another guy go that way, do some backdoor cuts, throw up an alley-oop, set a screen, throw up a three-point shot. It's not that complicated. And Charles is his name. You're soft, Charles. You're soft on the club. Oh, they'll be okay. I feel bad that they lost the game. That's an awful effort. And then look what Gobert did.
How can you, if you were a true Wolves fan, how could you not be outraged? Like I said, 95 under 5 minutes left, and he just gave up an offensive possession. Just gave it up.
And then the foul.
Because he wanted to send a message to a teammate.
And then the foul was blatant, where he just threw his hip out of it. Frustration foul. And no one's saying the season's completely over. They probably will make the playoffs. They may win the NBA championship.
It'd be pretty bad if they didn't.
But exactly, and and they may win the NBA championship. I highly doubt it, but they might.
But Wolves fans should not be thrilled if they're in the play-in area.
I'm just going with what I'm seeing to this point. And again, what if it continues like this? And what if we're sitting around 500, near New Year's Day? We still going to preach patience? Let them gel? I'm beginning to think. And do you see the numbers? Bodega. Now I know his defense isn't very good, but that's what they claim. All I know is Bodega Cat. He was the heart and soul of the club. Him and Ant. They were the heart and soul of the team. Gobert and Big Meow were starting to learn to play. The team got to the Western Conference Final. I know they got blown out by the Mavs. But instead of running it back one more time, money be damned. We got the money. Glenn's got the money. I don't know why they didn't. I'm still. That's all right. I'm just going to chill out. Just relax. They'll be okay. I lose to Boston tonight. So what? They're 8-8. What's after Boston? While you look for that, it's time for Peek at the Purple, brought to you by Affordable Electric. Dependable, honest, 24-hour, same-day service. They'll give you an upfront, affordable estimate before starting any repair. Just go online to schedule at affordable-electric.com. Affordable Electric. Shockingly affordable.
We got the Houston Rockets Tuesday as part of the NBA Cup.
What's their record?
I'm sure they're bad.
I think they actually got off to a good start this year.
Oh, man. Wow. Yeah.
10-4.
They're
right?
11-5.
11-5. We'll lose to that
Shows
game,
what I
too.
know.
And you know what? Well, and then you know what? Charles and all the other people tell me? Well, if you're that frustrated, don't watch. Patience. We'll be 17 games into the season at that point. The Peek at the Purple is really pretty simple, Tenby. I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. If Sam Darnold plays against the Bears like he did last week, take care of the ball, get the ball into the hands of the right players, and don't try to force it to Justin Jefferson and don't turn it over, offense should be fine. It's a pretty good Bears defense, right? Their defense is pretty solid.
Very good.
Hopefully we can run the ball a little bit. And then I just think with the way our defense has been playing, and when you have a rookie quarterback, as good as Caleb Williams apparently is or is going to be, rookie quarterbacks still, there's a learning curve there. And we've already seen quarterbacks have all sorts of trouble. B-Flow's aggressive but not reckless defense. I would think the Vikings should win. Will it be close? More than likely, but I still think the Vikings will win tomorrow. And you're thinking the Bears are going to spring an upset, or is that just a spread swing going with the points?
Yeah, I think they'll cover the spread.
Okay.
I should mention Josh Oliver out for a third straight day today at Vikings practice, so it looks like he will be out Sunday against the Bears. Maybe you'll see a little more TJ Hawkinson, because Hawkinson only played 45-50% of the snaps last game.
And I think that's on purpose, right? They're doing that to try to ease him back a little bit more. And Oliver's been playing well.
He's been good.
So there really hasn't been a problem there. Peek at the Purple, brought to you by our friends at Affordable-Electric. Shockingly affordable. We'll break. We'll come back. Feminine Touch of the program, Lil B. She joins us here in the 651 Carpets Plus studios, home of the next day install. That's next here on The Fan.